Advice for your first year in trucking. Now let me paint the picture for you. You just graduated the best truck driving school in the whole country, Driving Academy. You just got your brand new CDL license, nice piece of plastic right off the press, still nice and hot, right out of the printer, and now you're ready to start your first year as a truck driver and getting closer and closer on your road to freedom. Now, what we're going to be talking about in this video is going to give you invaluable information to make sure that your first year is going to be the best first year it can possibly be and set yourself up for even a better second year. Now, a lot of students who go through this process, they're super excited to start a brand new career, but they're also super scared because they don't know what's around the corner. We've been doing this thousands of times and we've helped out thousands of students. So I'm going to give you a quick guide on how to break this thing down and telling you exactly what to focus on your first year to make it as best as possible. Now, if you like content like this, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit that notification button so then we're able to help you out. And every time we put out new content, you're definitely here and you're going to be the first to know. But let's get started right into the content itself. So, we're talking about your first year in trucking. You just went through all the work, you did all the things that you need to do to actually get your CDL license. The hard part is over. Now it's time to actually start making some money with your license, right? Now, the first thing that most students have to do is they have to decide, where do I want to work? So step number one is actually going to be, okay, I want to make sure I get a job that makes me X amount of dollars. And that's usually where most people wind up. And they wind up chasing the wrong thing in the very beginning. The first thing you do have to understand is that you're a brand new driver. Just because you're a brand new driver does not mean you're a professional yet. This means money might not be the most important thing because you are in this game for longevity. You're not in here just to get rich overnight, and you ain't going to get rich overnight no matter what you do. So if you just focus on what is the most important part, 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the line, that is where you're going to be surpassing everyone by multiples, right? So when it comes to selecting your job, there's a few things you do have to worry about. Money, of course, is important, but a lot of people get stuck in these whole scams or good marketing, I'm going to call it, when it comes to the actual trucking companies. You're going to see things like sign-on bonus, tuition reimbursement, we pay $1 per mile, and all of that stuff has fine print. I mean, look how small this print is right over here. Kind of crazy, right? You need a magnifying glass to actually check that out. So let's kind of walk you through so you don't fall into these actual traps of tuition reimbursement and all that stuff. Most of the time, whether you see sign-on bonus or tuition reimbursement, most of the time it falls into the similar bucket. You're not going to get this check right off the bat when you sign up with them. It's going to be broken down into like a $200 to $300 payments made over time in the actual check that's coming out to you, right? There's also safety driver bonuses and all these things as well. It's very important that you do understand the compensation for it, but I've heard many horror stories of students who kind of fell for the marketing, and what wound up happening was they didn't read the fine print and they didn't really understand what the compensation package actually was. A very simple response for them would be, I know you don't want to be complicated with all these things, so let's just keep it nice and simple. That simple thing is just going to be ask the recruiter, how much does an average driver make your first year coming right out of school? I have no experience. I understand things are going to be a little bit shaky. Just ask that question flat out. Don't tell them don't say, oh, it depends. Don't accept any of those answers, and just say, hey, give me an average of 10 people. What does an average driver, if they do what they're supposed to do and they show up to work on time and do all the things that you need to do to make money, what does an average person make? At that point, that's going to be the most real answer because you know that's already been done. As long as you trust the individual, that's information to go forward. As you continue with the company, then you want to start understanding more about the compensation plan so you can favor it more in yourself. But like I said, money is only the first step of this process because you also have a lifestyle. You might have kids, you might not have kids, you might want to travel, you might not want to travel. So you want to really understand what sector of the trucking world that you actually want to be successful in. There's 3 main sectors out there. There's going to be over the road, which means you're traveling around the country. There's going to be regional, which means you're going to be in the specific region of where you are located now. And there's going to be local, which means you're going to be locally and you're going to be home every single day. Everyone has its perks, everyone has its cons depending on what your outcome is, right? So if you're somebody who says, hey Jonathan, I don't really care about my lifestyle, or I just want to travel the country, I want to make as much money as possible, over the road is definitely the best way to go. If you're somebody who says, no Jonathan, I have kids at home and I want to make sure that I'm being here for them, then local is where you want to go. Money might not be the most important thing for you right off the bat, but time at home and life balance is, then local. If If you're somebody who says, hey, I'm kind of in the middle, I kind of want to be home and I kind of want to make money, then maybe regional it would be the best option for you. The cool thing is, if you're a student here at Driving Academy, we have a whole team dedicated to guiding you through this process because we offer lifetime job placement for all of our students here. Now, let's talk about what an average income is for a brand new driver coming right out the bat when you have no experience. Now, we're talking about average, which means we have students who super exceed this. We also have students who just decide to do trucking on a part-time basis and make a lot less than this. But on average, a very stable career can make you anywhere from $50,000 to $65,000 a year your very first year coming out of school. Now think about it. You're starting again from the bottom. So I know that you might be making that or maybe a little bit less than that now, but you've probably worked 5, 10, 15 years to get to where you are now. Imagine doing a little shift over to a new career, and then all of a sudden, now you're making the same thing. And the cool thing about trucking that most people don't know is that your biggest growth is going to be in your first couple years. Because once you turn about 2 years old as a truck driver, that means you're now experienced and a lot of insurance companies are willing to accept you. And the way it works on the back end is when insurance companies are willing to accept you, that means you're a much lower risk for the insurance company, which means that the trucking company that you work for doesn't have to pay such a high bill to make sure that you're working for them. And that difference they're able to give to you as an actual driver because it's worth it for them. Brand new drivers, their risk is super high for insurance company purposes, which means that the trucking company has to pay on your behalf is going to be high, which means that in order for them to make money, they have to pay you less. And it's just mathematics. It's nothing personal. Now, the question is going to be, do resumes matter in trucking? When it comes to your very first trucking job, then it doesn't really matter that much because you have no experience in actual driving. The biggest thing that it's going to show is, are you a loyal person? Are you a jumper around? Do you have any actual experience? When you actually start moving around in trucking, that's when resumes actually matter a whole lot more because you're going to have to make sure you're keeping track of every company you work for, because when the next company hires you, they're going to want to make sure they're checking and making sure that you were a safe driver and you're not just jumping around because you messed up someplace else. And your biggest resume that you do have to worry about is actually going to be your CDL license, because on your license, any infractions that you do make will be tied to your license itself, and whether that's your car or your truck license, so that'll follow you for 5 to 7 years depending on how bad it is until it kind of wipes down itself. So the whole rule of the game, your first year, you're not going to be the richest truck driver right off the bat, so don't worry about that itself. I know money is important and you will get there. The first thing is understanding the rules, right? So the rule number 1 is see exactly what you want to go for. Is it local, regional, or over the road? Rule number 2 is going to be how much money are you okay with making your first year? Understanding that that's not the money that you're going to be making your entire life as your truck driver. Rule number 3 is going to be making sure that you're getting better at your skill set, making sure that you're safer, making sure that your parking skills are good, and you're getting into 0 accidents. If it takes you a little bit longer to actually back things up, get your ego out of the way, get out of the truck, and make sure those docks are actually getting docked without any damage to your vehicle. Now, the special tip that I promised you at the end of this video is going to be something that most people do not talk about. When you're actually going into this trucking career, it can be a lonely job because you're inside the truck by yourself most of the time. But the guys who actually succeed, like in trucking, like in any place else, whether it's professional sports or Wall Street or anything like that, they have a mentor that they follow. So if you're in a bigger company that has a few different drivers, try to network with who's actually working with them. And the top people in every industry always are looking to give back and help them out. So imagine getting their experience without going through all their headaches and all their work. And finding your mentor might be the biggest difference between you succeeding and not succeeding to the level that you want to succeed in, right? Because if you have a mentor who's been driving for 10 years already, they understand the whole comp plan for your company. They've been all over the country when it comes to driving itself. They can guide you and tell you which roads to take, which routes to take, which loads to take, which brokers to communicate with, and they'll even tell you simple things like, hey, you should stop at this truck stop because they have a special here, or you should go here to fuel up. And all these things that took them years and years of experience to actually pick up, you can pick up in a few hours and a few days and build that relationship. Like I said, truckers are a great community of people that are always looking to help each other out. So the more focus you put on putting on your actual mentor, the better it's going to be. The main thing that I focus on when I pick my mentors is going to be, hey, are they living the life that I want to live in that sector? Just because a guy's got a lot of money, maybe he's got a lot of businesses, I'll take his business advice. But if he's been divorced 3 or 4 times, I'm probably not going to take his marriage advice. So don't take people's advice at just face value. Really get deep and ask them questions on exactly where they're going in the world, what kind of results do they have, and how they live in their actual life. And then have that be a filter, because they can only teach you what they actually know. If you just understand that whole thing, your first year is going to be a piece of cake, nice and smooth, ready to go. If you need help with any of this stuff and you're a student here at Driving Academy, we're here to help you out with our lifetime job placement. We'll guide you through it. We'll tell you which companies are the best to work for depending on your needs and your goals. And then if you do this correctly and you stay safe this whole year and you just focus on, hey, I'm just making an investment into myself because I'm not a professional yet, in that case, year 2, year 3, year 4, boom, money's going to start falling down. Your whole life is going to start changing, and you're going to see how much worth it actually was to get your CDL license a few years ago to make sure that you're able to ride this wave moving forward. Now, your family's going to thank you. Yourself and your future self is going to thank you for all the work that you're putting in today. So don't forget, you're getting one step closer on the road to freedom. You're not there yet. It's not about the destination, it's about the journey and the person that you actually become. I hope to see you soon. And if you don't have your CDL license yet, you already know what I'm going to say. Come to the best truck driving school in the entire country. You can check out more information about us at cdldrivingacademy.com. Again, cdldrivingacademy.com. Thank you very much and have a fantastic day. Hey, thank you so much for watching this video. If you like it, make sure you hit that like button. Also, subscribe to our channel. It's really going to help us out. Click on that button. And if you want to continue yourself on your road to freedom, here's more videos to watch. There's endless amounts. Hopefully we get to see each other one day very soon. Thanks.